Okay, last couple of videos on linear graphs. Here's a couple of sort of silly, not silly, but just sort of quick, easy sort of things. In this video, we're just going to talk about the distance between 2 points. Distance between 2 points. Okay. Good. And so I'll prove this in class, but basically the distance between the points x1, y1 and x2, y2. So I've got two sets of points, first set here, second set here. If you want to know the distance between those 2 points, so the distance will be equal to the square root of x2 minus x1, so x2 minus x1 squared, plus y2 minus y1 squared. So we've got that. That's the distance between them. And if you know Pythagoras well, this is just purely Pythagoras. It's the difference between the y values, you square that, that's your vertical height, and the difference between your x values, that's just your horizontal. I'll show you that in class. But here's the distance, that's the formula, and all you have to do basically is follow that formula. So let's just jump into an example, nice and simple. Okay, so let's just choose a point there and a point up here. Let's just do that. Let's say this is the point -1 and 4, and this is the point. It won't work out very nicely. Should I try? No, I won't even try. Let's just call that -3 and -1. Okay, so find the distance between those 2 points here. Firstly, it's always a good idea to label what these are so that you can see it in your formula. So this is our first set of points up here, x1 and y1. Down here, this is your second set of points, x2 and y2. Okay, just so that you can see what is what. That might be a lot helpful. So the distance between these two is equal to the square root of, now it was x2 minus x1, so here is your x2 down here, so brackets -3 minus x1. x1 is -1, so minus -1. Be careful with the negatives. That's squared. Plus y2. y2 is -1. -1. Minus y1 is 4. So minus 4 squared. Sort it out. Just clean it up. Square root of. Now, -3. Double negative here, so that means a positive. So I've got -3 plus 1, that's equal to -2. -2 squared. Plus -1 minus 4 is -5, so plus -5 squared. This is equal to -2 squared is 4, -5 squared is 25. And so that's equal to the square root of 29. And if you pop that into your calculator, that'll be 5, 6, probably about 5.4, just roughly equal to 5.4 units. So you have to give it some units because it's a distance measurement, so it'll be roughly 5.4 units there. And that's how you find the distance between 2 points. Cool, so that's that. Next part that I just need to show you, the next little funny sort of thing, and it's pretty much the last thing in linear graphs, is midpoint of 2 points. Okay, so the midpoint of x1, y1, so that's your first set of points, and x2, y2, your second set of points. The midpoint between them will be, the midpoint will be equal to, your x value will be your average of your x values, so x1 plus x2 divided by 2, and your y will just be the average of your y values, y1 plus y2 over 2. And that's it. How simple. So basically it's just the average of your x values, comma, the average of your y values. That's it. Let me do a quick example, but I think you're going to find this pretty easy. Example, find the midpoint. I'll write it, just look weird without it. Find the, not A, find the midpoint of -3, 6, and say 1 and -2. Okay, let's do that. Again, really good to label. Let's just label them. x1, y1, that's your first set of points. x2, y2, that's your second set of points. So let's do it. Your midpoint will be equal to, I'll just write it out again, x1 plus x2 divided by 2, y1 plus y2 over 2 equals, right, so let's just add them up together. x1 is -3, x2 is 1, and we divide that all by 2. y1 is 6, y2 is -2 over 2. Simplify that down and you get -3 plus 1. -3 plus 1 is -2, so that's -2 over 2. Oh, write it. -2 over 2. And here we've got 6 plus -2. 6 minus 2 is 4 over 2. 4 over 2. And what that is equal to, -2 over 2 is -1. 4 over 2 is 2. And so that is your midpoint. Nice and easy. Hopefully that makes sense. That's basically the end of linear graphs. Hopefully it all makes sense. Like I said at the start of this topic, it's just so important that you get really good at these questions. Enjoy.